Isabel Morton here, and I can't wait to show you the new crystal clusters that we got from the Tucson Gem Show 2015. I'm going to be starting with the smaller clusters, and then we'll progress to the larger ones. Okay, here's cluster number 2. It has some water clear points, as well as some semi-opaque crystals over here. Has a nice base, sits very nicely, and is perfect for a bracelet or two. You could put several bracelets over this probably, or make a mandala around and over the cluster as well. This would be ideal for a self-therapy. There are also some crystals on the back, and the base is quartz. Okay, here's number 3. This one has water clear and nearly water clear points. Quartz base. Just a wee bit of rock matrix on that side. And it sits very nicely. Perfect for a single bracelet. These points are longer than the previous one. Some really nice ones here. Also excellent for a self-therapy. Okay, here's number 5. As you can see, these points are a lot longer. These two are in very nice size. These points are nearly water clear. There's also a nice base, mostly quartz base. Sits very nicely, and plenty of room for bracelets. Because these points are longer, the gemstone spheres you place on the cluster are going to radiate farther. So you could possibly use this for a small room, or at least an area within a room. So you could put this by your bedside and lay over it whatever necklace that you'd like to work with while you sleep. This is number 6, and this crystal is abundant with water clear druzy. Now, druzy are very tiny little crystals, which make this an excellent piece for rejuvenating a necklace or a bracelet. Here's the bracelet, and there is plenty of room, I would say, to spiral a necklace on this as well. It has a nice flat base and a few tall water clear crystals, a little larger than the druzy. That's the base. Now if you wrapped a necklace around this one big crystal here, you'll probably get it to start radiating in the room. Here's sample number 7. Lots of nice sized crystals on here. The points are nearly water clear. Quartz base. Sits very nicely. It sits very nicely. You could lay a necklace or bracelet over it to help fill a space. This would be ideal for self-therapy or even to fill a small room or the corner of a larger room. This would be good to travel with. Very sturdy. Here's number 8. The crystals here are significantly larger. Water clear at the very ends of the points, and then progressively more translucent and semi-opaque toward the base of the points. This is significantly heavier as well. Plenty of nooks and crannies to drape bracelets or a single necklace. Any of the crystals that I've shown you so far would be just fine to use with your Foundation 5 bracelet set or a single necklace, or to use as part of a mandala where you drape necklaces over the cluster and then around them as well. Okay, number 9 is a really beautiful crystal. It has all these water clear points all over it. Even on the bottom there are some druzy, some small crystals underneath. Plenty of room for a necklace or one or more bracelets. And number 10. Number 10 is unusual in that it has a lot of long, thin, water clear and nearly water clear points. So this one is something that you would not want to travel with because of these delicate points. Find a place for it in a room and just leave it there. This one's a little larger than the others, and there is plenty of room for draping one or more necklaces over this one. Because of the length of the points, it's good for broadcasting a necklace's energies throughout the room. There is some rock matrix underneath, surrounded by quartz matrix, but it's relatively thin. Most of what you have here are these crystals. Okay, number 11 consists of many water clear points of various sizes. There's quite a bit of druzy in here. This is an excellent cluster for rejuvenating necklaces and somewhat for radiating the necklace's energy throughout the room. It has a quartz base, which is also very sparkly. I don't know if you can see that. This cluster has a very sweet energy. And plenty of room for laying over a bracelet or one or more necklaces. Number 12 has water clear points, various sizes, some druzy, quite a bit of matrix, quartz matrix. The benefit of the extra matrix is that it makes it more effective for clearing and rejuvenating your necklaces. Plenty of room to place a necklace on it or several bracelets, draping necklaces and bracelets over the top. Sits very nicely. And it looks like you can also put it on its side. I always think this is an added value when a crystal lets you do that, because then you can drape the necklaces like that. It's especially nice when the cluster lays vertically like this for self-therapy. Number 13, the crystal points on this cluster are huge. They are nearly water clear. There's some water clarity at the very tips of some of these crystals. The base is a little rock-like, but there's very little of it. Most of the weight of this is pure crystal cluster. This would be a good one to travel with. Very hefty, very solid. Just some beautiful big points on this. Plenty of room for a bracelet, a necklace. Definitely with this one you're going to be filling a small room very quickly, or a space within a larger room. This is cluster number 14. Also, some really nice sized points. They're nearly water clear. The base is quartz. Nice sturdy cluster. Plenty of nooks and crannies for draping bracelets and necklaces. Using a cluster like this with a necklace or bracelet could fill a small room or a portion of a larger room rather quickly. It's really beautiful. It looks like a little city with all the upright spires. A city of crystals. Okay, here's number 16. Substantially heavier. These are nearly water clear points. Some rock matrix, but mostly quartz matrix. This one's nice because of the length of it. You can drape, definitely you could get on the foundation 5, but any 2 or 3 necklaces that you wanted to drape over this cluster to support you at night or during the day, you'd have plenty of room to do that. Okay, number 17. This is a really sparkly one. These are water clear crystals and semi-water clear crystals on a very thin quartz matrix base that's also quite crystalline. There's some crystals at the base too. Some druzy growing here on the base as well. This one sits up on its side or it can be laid down. I love it when they sit up on their side because then you can drape many bracelets or necklaces over the top. This would easily broadcast the energies of all foundation 5 bracelets or necklaces in a small room. And of course could also be used for rejuvenating your necklaces and bracelets. Here's number 18, which consists of water clear and mostly water clear points going in all different directions. It's very sparkly. I don't know if the camera lets you see that. The base is quartz and it's very crystalline. There's a mineral inclusion here, which you might be able to pick out. An energy field around the cluster that could fill a small room or a space within a larger one. I was attracted to this cluster because of the size of the crystals and just the way they sparkled. going in all different directions, which is what we want, relatively evenly in different directions. No one crystal pointing in any one direction. If you had a little pillow for this, you might be able to get it to stand up on its side and then drape bracelets and necklaces over the top. Okay, this is number 19. And what I really loved about this is the complexity of the crystalline structure. You've got crystals growing all over the place on this one. Around the edges, you can sometimes see inside the cluster. There's a quartz matrix. And even though there is one point that does stand out, I felt that it was offset well enough by these other points going in different directions. This is not something I would travel with because the points on this one seem quite sharp. If you had a pillow, you could place it on its side. Actually, you can just, it stands all by itself in this orientation. You can drape necklaces and bracelets over it. Or you could lay it down. Okay, here's number 20. What attracted me to this cluster was all the water clear points. You can get a sense of how tall they are. This cluster is covered with druzy and has a nice matrix of quartz, which can help to rejuvenate necklaces and bracelets. You can lay them in that direction or horizontally. This cluster is meant to lay flat. Beautiful water clear crystals, quite sparkly too. Here's number 21. Very similar to number 20, except the water clear crystals, there's bigger ones and they're quite plentiful. Nice quartz matrix, very sparkly, lots of crystals under here, growing at the base as well, inside the matrix. Get a little peek in here of what's growing inside. Beautiful, sparkly crystals. Excellent for rejuvenating your necklaces and bracelets. If you put something like this beside your bed while your necklace was rejuvenating, it would also be radiating its energy. This is 22. These are nearly water clear points, and they're huge. There is a rock matrix, but look at the size of these points. They somewhat have a little heart shape happening here. Very nice for self-therapy because if you put this in front of you, it looks like it kind of surrounds. Makes a nice semicircle around in front of you. Excellent for broadcasting necklaces into a small room quite quickly, and you could even use this for a larger room. It may take some time, but with these size points, you're definitely going to get the gemstone energy filling that room. Plenty of nooks and crannies over which you can drape necklaces and bracelets. But the amazing thing about this is the size. This is going to start working very quickly. This is a gorgeous cluster. Number 23 is a fascinating cluster. There are nearly water clear and almost water clear, actually there are some water clear points on this, all over this crystal. Every nook and cranny there are crystals. In fact, there is no matrix to this cluster. It is all quartz crystal points. So necklaces or bracelets placed on this would definitely fill a small room relatively quickly. You can lay it on its side. Actually, that looks pretty nice just like that. And then experiment with other ways that you can place it. That's another option. Number 24 consists of nearly water clear to semi-transparent crystals, and they're also very large. The base is nice and smooth. Looks like this base here has been sanded to make it very smooth, whereas this side is a little more natural, which means you can set it like that, which looks quite lovely. That's just a beautiful crystal cluster. Oh my goodness, look at all those clusters. Look at all those crystals. Oh my goodness. It's like just one huge conglomeration of large crystals. Or you could set it down like that. I think I like this orientation the best. Plenty of room for placing bracelets, necklaces. This could definitely fill a small room, and probably in about half an hour to an hour, a larger room as well, with whatever gemstone energies you placed on top of the cluster. Okay, here's number 25. This definitely has some weight to it. It consists of water clear and nearly water clear points. Nice size, quartz base, quite shiny, and a lot of crystals. It almost looks like a flower. Quite heavy. That's what it looks like. Laying down. You could definitely get several necklaces draped on this, and it would fill a small room relatively quickly, and in about half an hour or so you might be able to fill a larger room with the energies of whatever gemstone spheres you placed on the cluster. Okay, here's number 26, and this cluster is really special. It is definitely one of a kind. Underneath there is some rock matrix, but this matrix is just filled with tiny little crystals. And look at the top of it. The long crystals are just growing all over the place. They're long, slender, semi-translucent crystals. Just astounding. This is a very unusual piece. Very unusual. Not something you want to travel with. Find a spot in your home and just let it stay there. Plenty of room for draping many necklaces over the top of it. Or bracelets. Could definitely fill a small room and a larger room given a little time. Very unusual. You don't see many of these types of clusters. Okay, here's number 27. These are water clear and nearly water clear points. Quartz matrix. There's even quartz crystals growing at the bottom of this cluster. This is another one of those special ones that you can sit in that direction or that direction. Plenty of room to drape necklaces and bracelets over it. Can be used to rejuvenate your gemstone spheres or to radiate them throughout a room. The weight of it, the amount of quartz matrix makes it excellent for rejuvenating your necklaces. A beautiful cluster. Nice size crystals as well. Okay, the word for number 28 is massive. These are huge clusters. The points are just enormous. They're water clear at the end, graduating down to a nearly water clear or nearly opaque crystal at the base. Crystal quartz matrix. Wee little bit of rock on the side here. But what's really special about this is the size of these crystals. They're just enormous. This would definitely be my choice for filling a relatively large room with whatever gemstone energies you wanted to drape on top. This one sits like that. And if you had a pillow for it, you could probably get it to sit up on its side. Right now it's a little tipsy. Just needs a wee bit of support to have it stand upright like that. Oh, actually it does stand on its other side very nicely. You can just drape necklaces over the top. Okay, here's number 29. This one is also just covered with semi-translucent and nearly water clear and water clear crystal points. It is just covered with crystals. The base is basically chunks of crystal, a little bit of quartz matrix, but not much. Yeah, I guess there is some here. Druzy here. Just astounding. Could place it quite nicely in that direction. Turn it around. If you want to look at the smaller druzes, whatever your preference. Plenty of places to drape necklaces and bracelets. Could make quite an interesting mandala with this cluster and all the different places you can hang bracelets and necklaces, on all the different points. Not something you would want to travel with. Find a nice spot in your home and just let it be there. Okay, here's number 31. This one is really heavy. Not something you'd want to travel with. There's some minimal quartz matrix on the bottom, but this is a collection of crystals. Just crystals. A little bit of matrix there. There are crystals all over the place, and they're a really nice size. You can plant this guy in that direction, plenty of places to drape necklaces. You could orient it like that as well, if you'd like. Or even like this. And then drape your necklaces and bracelets around it. This is certainly one of our heavier and larger pieces. Okay, number 32. This is our heaviest piece. It has rock matrix at the bottom, and the top is just covered with nearly water clear and some water clear points. Just thousands of them all over the place. This is a beautiful, beautiful specimen. It is heavy, not something you'd want to travel with. This is one orientation, but there's plenty of room for draping necklaces on top of it. Of course, you could also orient it on its side, like that, and then lay the necklaces on top of it. Excellent for rejuvenating and revitalizing your gemstone sphere necklaces, as well as for broadcasting them throughout a room. Really special piece. This is just extraordinary. Okay, here's number 36. And what's really special about this plate piece, besides it is covered in druzy, is that both sides are covered in druzy. This side, the crystals are slightly larger. They are water clear. This is just amazing piece of crystal cluster. Just amazing. With a pillow, you could prop this upright and have a truly stunning piece in your home. Plenty of room to drape necklaces over the top. Look at this. Even look at that. In between the quartz, there's all these little crystals growing there as well. Very stunning. The many crystals on here are a little sharp, something that you want to find a place for and then just leave and enjoy. Not a crystal you want to handle very much. Or you could just leave it flat and then place necklaces on top of it to rejuvenate them. But if you have it upright, you're going to have a more effective broadcasting. Truly stunning piece. Okay, number 38, another very unusual piece. These crystal points are nearly clear to nearly opaque. There's a lot of them, even on the underside. Another very unusual piece. Not something you want to travel with. It's very fragile. The crystals are somewhat sharp, so you have to be careful handling it. Find some place in your house that you want to place this cluster and then just leave it there and enjoy its beauty. It's really special. Plenty of room for draping necklaces and bracelets, and for broadcasting the energy of your gemstone spheres throughout a room. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Okay, we have one more very unusual cluster. This one naturally stands up by itself. No assistance needed. There is some rock matrix, but look at this. There are crystals on both sides of this cluster. It's just amazing. They are nearly water clear. There are some water clear. There are crystals just all over this piece. And because of the way it sets, oh, looks like there's also some druzy on that side too. Because of the way it sits, it's ideal for draping necklaces and bracelets over the top. And that's the other side. Looks like on this one there is some mineral inclusion at the base of these points, and we did scrub and wash with soap and water all of these clusters, so it's likely not embedded soil, it's probably some mineral. But from a distance you can't see it, and it really doesn't interfere with the work of the cluster, since the minerals are at the base of the crystals and not inside them.